what's going on, man? Today is May the 23rd, 2024. This is your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA Show, where we are live on Twitter, also live on YouTube as well. Do me a favor, man. Make sure y'all can hear me before we get started. I want to make sure my audio is good. It looks like it is good, but I want to make sure real quick. Yeah, looks like it's good. So we got one NBA game for today. We got 3 WNBA games for today. Looking to get paid in the W again, man. W's been good to us so far, even though we are coming off a loser with Atlanta first half on Tuesday night. But it is what it is. Real quick recap: I did give out Dallas plus the 4.5 yesterday, and Dallas team total over the 101.5 as well. So 2-0 day yesterday. I also really liked the Seattle Storm in the first half at home against Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, and that was a winner. They had a 4-point lead going into halftime. Did not cover the full game though, and we're gonna talk about the W. So that takes us to we won almost a unit and a half yesterday. The NBA playoffs still down a ton, but slowly but surely trying to make that back, man. So let's jump into it for today, man. Anthony in here with us. He says, "Get money." What up, LJ? Tasha in here as well. Prolific says, "Good morning, Chris. Fever are definitely trending in the right direction." Yeah, I would agree with that, man. They just gotta stay together. They definitely gotta stay together. But I like what I'm seeing from this young Fever team for sure. They need a little bit more out of Leah Boston, though. I feel like they're so guard heavy. Leah Boston was she was cooking last year. It feels like not as much this year. Anthony says, "Good morning, Chris. Hey, that Storm -3 first half came through yesterday. Glad you cashed it, Anthony." I didn't like it as much. I didn't give it out an official play. I didn't like it as much because I didn't know NECA's status. And we do the show so early. NECA wasn't even rolled in until maybe 35, 40 minutes before the game. Patrick says, "Top of the morning, everyone. Places plus the points today." What's up to my guy, Mark? Says, "Good morning, Chris and the crew. Coffee tastes good today." He must got a winner last night. And Tasha said she needs some coffee too. Prop says, "Good morning, Chris. I think you could easily do a $10 to 10K challenge with your WNBA picks. Always on fire. Thanks for the Storm first half. Let's cash today." Yeah, man. I don't know, bro. I've been going in slow. For all the members, y'all know I haven't been giving out full unit plays. The only full unit play I gave out was the Dream the other day, and that was a loser. But yeah, man. WNBA has been good to start for sure. What else we got in here? Chris be sleeping Thursdays. Nah, I'm up. I'm always up, man. Feel like I don't get enough sleep. What's up to my guy Eric? Mark says, "Chris be cooking." Tasha says, "Wonder Kyrie versus Boston in the finals." We'll see what happens there. What's up to my guy Patrick in here as well? So just subscribe to the channel. Jay Gill says he finally catching the live show. Keep smacking the books up, Chris. Appreciate that comment. Chad says, "Good morning, everyone. Appreciate the video." What's up, Cheesy? And Anthony in here as well. What up, Anthony? Appreciate you for being here. My guy Frank in here as well. Let's jump into it for today, man. We got we still got the t-shirt giveaway. And I don't think we had any winners yesterday. I'll double check it, but I don't think we had any winners yesterday. But members, if you guys picked the correct side and total for today's game, so let me know who you think is going to win between Boston and Indiana and what you predict the final score, the outcome to be. Is it going to be Boston 125 to 110? Is it going to be Indiana 110 to 105? Let me know what you guys think. You get one guess per game. Your first guess is your only guess, and your entry just got to be, you got all day if you want to. And if you win, person that's the closest or exact, I will send them a ChrisBeCappinn NBA t-shirt. I ran out of 2XLs. I do have sizes small through extra large though, in blue, black, and reds. Blue, black, and white. So just let me know what you guys are thinking there. If you are the winner, I will announce the winner tomorrow. All right, let's jump into this Pacers plus the Pacers and Celtics, man. A lot of anticipation for this game. I know I'm super excited about it as well. We got the Celtics, home favorites. They're laying 9. Of course, they were laying 10.5 in some spots in game number 1, and the total up to 224.5. This total did open to 225, however, it's come down a half a point. So I think that probably is sharp money coming in on the total. But let's jump into it. First thing I want to point out is the game 1 outliers, right? We always go back and look at game 1. So on the left-hand side, you guys can see the box scores. You can see the team stats. And a couple different things jump out to me. You see game 1 outliers here. Indiana shot 54, pretty much 54% from the field. Boston's defense has been so much better than that. They've actually held opponents to about 46% shooting from the Boston is also Indiana was a +1 on the glass. And that's not like extreme. It's not anything too extreme. Indiana's been about even in the rebound department when I went back and looked at it throughout the playoffs so far. But Boston has actually been a +5 in rebounding in the playoffs, and they lost the rebounding battle here. Boston has also been the best team at limiting offensive rebounds. You can see it right here. Indiana had 10 offensive rebounds. Does that, slow down just a tad bit? I think it potentially could here. And then both teams turned the ball over a lot. If you look right here, you can see total turnovers. Boston turned the ball over 15 times, led to 32 Indiana points. Indiana turned the ball over 22 times, and it led to 21 Boston Celtics points. So that's 53 points off turnovers. I don't think that that's necessarily going to happen again. I think both of these teams, Indiana was coming off of Game 7. They played a lot better than I think a lot of people thought that they would. But I don't think that Boston's going to turn the ball over 15 times. Indiana doesn't have a defense that forces a lot of turnovers if you go back and look at it. And I don't think that Indiana's going to turn the ball over. Indiana was one of the better teams in the NBA at protecting the basketball, so I definitely think that they're going to do a better job. These trends, right, both of these numbers right here, this 32 points and this 21 points, that'd be at 53 points, definitely makes me think that this game could potentially go under here. Also, I think if you do like Boston, you got to look at one of the biggest problems they have, and it's very symbolic of Rudy Gobert last night playing that drop coverage for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton absolutely lit him up. Boston got to address that. Horford in that drop coverage. I know that Porzingis is not supposed to be back until I think Game 4. It looks like the reports say. They're going to have to address that, though. Horford being out there dropping, Tyrese Halliburton absolutely killed him. 25 points on 6 for 14 from the three-point line. And it felt like Indiana was making a ton of threes. You can see that they did outshoot Boston from the three-point line as far as percentage-wise. They shot 37% to Boston's 33%. But Boston was actually a +6 and shot 10 more threes than the Indiana Pacers here. I think so. Let me talk about the total just a tad bit, and then I'll get into my thoughts for how I want to play the game. So Boston, in my opinion, they were clearly trying to push the pace against the Pacers, with the Pacers coming off that Game 7, and it didn't work. I think today's game is going to be a bit slower pace. I think Boston wants to limit Indiana's shot making opportunities and the turnovers that they had on their end as well. And I talked about it a little bit, but Boston only shot 33% from the three-point line. I think it could be some Indiana Pacers defense has been good from three, but they got lit up. Remember, Dante DiVincenzo absolutely lit them up in the last series. Jalen Brunson shot the ball well from the three-point line. Even Miles McBride shot the ball well from the three-point line. So throughout the season, Pacers three-point defense was really, really good, but in the playoffs, not as much. I think we could see a little bit of offensive aggression from Boston. 15 for 45 from the three-point line is not necessarily going to cut it all the time. Jaylen Brown only shot 1 for 4 from 3. Jason Tatum only shot 2 for 8 from 3, even though he went far over his points prop. And Al Horford shot 3 for 12 from the three-point line as well. I think we can see some regression there. So the first initial look that I had was Indiana team total under 108.5, 107.5. And then I'll get into my thoughts for the full game. So I think the biggest difference here, I know a lot of people going to want to take the Pacers, want to take them on the money line. Like, I totally get it. Don't let me talk you off. I just think that I think Boston, they've won Game 1s pretty easily. First round, they smoked the Miami Heat in Game 1. And then the Cleveland Cavaliers, they smoked them in Game 1 as well. So Game 2 felt more of like a letdown spot, human nature. Jason Tatum actually came out and said that after the game. I think that they're going to be a lot more locked in here. I think Game 1 got their attention because they probably shouldn't even won the game against the Indiana Pacers. This is the spot where you back Boston in the first half, in my opinion. We know how good they've been at home in the first half, on the road in the first half. And I do think that they got the attention I think the Pacers got the attention of this Boston Celtics team. So I like Boston first half. First half minus the 5. They typically play their best brand of basketball. Like I said, I think the Pacers woke them up here. Couple different trends I looked at as well. I was trying to make a slide. I just actually ran out of time. But I was looking into a couple different trends. Let me see if I could just read them off real quick because I had them on my phone but didn't get through all of them. So first, we'll just go backwards. Off of overtime game, I was looking into this. Pacers 2-0 straight up, 2-0 against the spread. They beat the Nets and they beat the Bucks off overtime back on March 16th and March 28th. The Celtics off of overtime game, 4-2 straight up, 2-4 against the spread. They haven't played an overtime game since March the 30th when they played whoever they played, and they played the Pelicans the next game. Won and covered the spread in that game. And they're 4-2 to the under in that spot as well. But the big ones I really wanted to point out was a couple that stood out to me. The first one, here we are. So second game of a series, you got a home favorite who won but didn't cover. That's a first seed since 2015. 10-0 straight up, 8-2 against the spread. It says the Celtics win the game. And it says that they bounce back here. First quarter, first half, there is a plus 10 margin in the first half. 29-22 in the first quarter and 30-27 in the second quarter. So again, this is number one seeds in the second game of a series where they won but didn't cover the spread since 2015. 10-0 straight up, 8-2 against the spread. So that stood out to me for Boston. Another one I wanted to point out to you guys real quick was a couple really strong ones that I wanted to share. Like I said, I just didn't have time to make this graphic. I will tell you guys, for people who want to back the Pacers turned the ball over. You guys can see here, they turned the ball over 22 times. Very uncharacteristic. They've only done that 3 times this season. They're 2-1 straight up, 3-0 against the spread when they're coming off a game where they turned the ball over 20 times or more in their last game. So that's if you like the Pacers. What else was it? So pretty similar trend here. This is road dogs in series game number 2, coming off a loss, but they did cover the spread since 2015. 1-16 straight up, 4-13 against the number, losing by an average of 16 points in game number 2. This trend to me says that the Pacers gave their best shot early in the game. It says that, they could potentially run out of gas here in this spot. And coming off of game 7, I do think I could definitely see that happening here. They fought hard in a game that they probably should have won. And if they had a letdown in this game, it really wouldn't surprise me. Boston offense is just as good as the Pacers, and their defense is light years better than the Pacers. So going to be a lot of overreaction. Don't get it twisted. People going to overreact, think the Pacers plus the 9 is an absolute lock. I'm not playing the side for the full game, but I do like Boston early in this spot. And this trend that I just read you guys was actually one that favored the Knicks, and it was the reason why I stayed off the Knicks and why I stayed off the Pacers in game 2. Remember, if for the diehards, the people that rock with me, y'all remember that I said this. I felt this strong trend in, and it was one of the reasons why I didn't back the Pacers in game 2. The Knicks smoked them in game 2 in the last round. They lost 130-129, didn't cover the number at all. The line got shorter. The Knicks were laying 4.5 and ended up winning the game by 9. So again, I'll say that one real quick. This is since 2015, road dogs in game 2 that lost the game but covered the spread. They're losing by an average of 16 points and just 4-13 against the number since 2015. So covering about 23.5%. So yeah, I like Boston early in this spot. I think it's a Boston first half spot. Boston first half -5, available on Bet365. A little bit of juice at -115, but I see a lot of 5.5s everywhere else. That's what I'm thinking here. Let's see what you guys are thinking. I know I said a lot. Let's see. OG saying hit the like. Appreciate that. Kyle likes the Pacers plus the 10. He says 121-111 Pacers. Okay. I think I slightly disagree, but okay. Tariq says, good morning, Chris. Let it be a good day. Praying for one. I need it. I need it again. Smokey, what's going on? Smokey Steam Best. He says, I love backing a home favorite after surviving a scare in game 1. It happened with the Thunder over the Pelicans in round 1 and the Knicks over the Pacers in round 2. Celtics -8.5 locked it in for him. And this is the same sentiment that I'm thinking as well, Smokey. Real quick, let me see if that other one popped up. Yeah, it did. It did. So far this season, it's been exactly what you said. It's Pacers, Knicks, and Pelicans, Thunder. Yeah, it's a very strong trend. Like I said, last 17 times, road dogs that covered game 1, but didn't win game one, typically do run out of gas. And you got the Pacers coming off a 7-game series. So I agree with this comment here, Smokey. Definitely agree with this. My opinion, not yours, says Miles Turner went absolutely crazy in game one. We talked about Miles Turner. He's still going to have a great matchup. That's a fact. Correct score is definitely a risky business. Agree with that. What's up, Jamie? Says, good morning, Chris. Nice reads last night, bro. Appreciate that. LJ says he likes the first half over 115.5. He says 6 games these teams played. The first half total is average 123 points. So likes the game to slow down as it goes on. And I don't think I could talk you off of that, LJ. This game got a little bit slower, especially in the fourth quarter. Boston couldn't make shots. Pace slowed down just a tad bit. Only 47 points scored in the first half, in the fourth quarter specifically, where you saw each team score 30 plus in the first quarter and the second quarter. 31-34 in the first, 33-30 in the second. So maybe a good look from LJ here, just staying off the full game, but just playing that first half to go over. Kai says he thinks the Celtics win the series. Me too. Mark says everything is telling me Boston balls out today after wake-up call, but I can't bet them on the spread. First half team total over. I couldn't talk you off of that. I do like Boston to bounce back early here. It almost feels like, especially with the local media coverage, it almost feels like Boston lost the game. Just because it went to overtime. They probably should have lost the game. They were losing by 3. If, they don't get to steal, Jalen Brunson does hit the 3 to force overtime, they probably do lose the game. But I'm right there with you. LJ says Pacers are also 10-4. Team total over in the playoffs, 9-4 to the over in the first half in the playoffs. So some more interesting information there from LJ. Appreciate you sharing. Matt says, I don't understand why the NBA coaches and players make it so hard to switch defensive coverages if it's not working. Stop drop coverage and run zone or stunt zone front, not hard to do with NBA players. Yeah, it does feel like it's pretty difficult. But I think it's just systems. Like, some teams just play systems, and it's really difficult to play out of that sometimes and change it up. But I agree with this comment. My opinion, not yours, is I think the Celtics go up 2-0 here. The line indicates that as well. Anthony, I would think Boston first quarter is also in play today. Even if you don't want to take their first quarter spread, I think the team total, I do think that they'll be able to score. Pacers defense has been really, really bad in the first. It seems like it's slow. It gets better as the game goes on. So I would agree there. DC Sean says he likes Boston and Tyrese Halliburton over his threes. Jay Holiday says he got Caitlin Clark over 19.5 points. I saw her hit some late free throws. I stayed up and watched the end of that game last night. LJ likes Halliburton double-double, says he's averaged 10 assists in the series. PZ says under 224 for him, under 224.5. Jay Holiday says Sauce said Boston team total over 116.5. I could see Boston being able to score just a tad bit better. Like I said, they only shot 33% from the three-point line. They're going to continue to shoot the ball, shoot it a ton too. All right, I'm trying to get through some more comments, but we got to get on to the next game. Attacker says game one, they hit the team total, didn't cover the spread, and I agree there. FanDuel's currently offering everyone's assist line except Al Horford. Kyrie said, hold my beer. Yeah, shout out to Kyrie, man. Got us some money last night. What up, Jose? Appreciate you for joining us this morning. And John says, I bet. And it won't say he guarded Kyrie ever again. Yeah, Kyrie had, just real quick, Kyrie had Ant looking like he had worked three shifts in a row, man. He had pulled the triple. Ant had his hand on his hip like, oh, man, Jesus, this is what I signed up for? This is exactly what you signed up for, man. And I got a chance to watch Kyrie with, NBA, inside the NBA. Watched the interview last night with him, Chuck, Draymond, Kenny, and Charles, and Shaq. That was good, man. That was really, really good. Good to see Kyrie, in his element, man. I love Kyrie. Big Kyrie guy. All right, let's keep going, man. We don't get sidetracked. Next game up, we're going to the W. We got the Lynx and the Connecticut Sun here. Looks like Connecticut is laying 6.5, 7 on some books. I think I saw as well. Just it kind of depends on where you're shopping. Real quick, let me just. I always feel like I need the most updated line. Let me just double check it real quick to see what we have here. As far as lines, this line is 7. 6.5 is consensus though. Total sitting at 163. So it's exactly what you guys see here. Let's get to the notes for this game. So first and foremost, if you're betting WNBA, one thing I want people to take into consideration is this, and this is the trend of the day. Home favorites this season, after the Seattle Storm didn't cover last night against the Indiana Fever, are 1-10-2 against the spread. 1-10-2 are home favorites. So I mean, off the rip, I'm not really looking towards home favorites to be able to cover any of these numbers. What that tells me is that, you know, the odds makers are setting the lines big enough for the dogs to cover. And WNBA has been a lot more competitive if you guys have been paying attention, especially early in the season. Like, these girls go out there, these women go out there and scrap, they claw and fight for their teams for sure. They leave it all out there for sure as well. So that immediately makes me want to look towards the Lynx here. You get a Minnesota team that 2-0 straight up and against the spread. Connecticut on the opposite side. And real quick, I do need to check the injury report. I think Rachel Brennan was the only person on there, but I do want to double check that real quick just to make sure I got that right. Let's see. All right, let me pull the lineups up real quick. All right, so we got Rachel Branham, game time decision. She missed that last game with a concussion on the Connecticut Sun side. And Dorcas Juha, she's still going to be without. She's not with the team. She hasn't joined the Minnesota Lynx yet, but she'll probably be back here soon. So no real injuries here. So what you have here, battle undefeated teams: Minnesota 2-0 against the spread straight up, Connecticut Sun 3-0 straight up, but they are just 1-2 against the number. Head to head, Connecticut's beat this Minnesota Lynx team 8 of the last 10, but they've only covered 4 of the last 6 spreads. And last year, this happened, and these two teams met in the playoffs. Connecticut ended up beating Minnesota in the best of 3. They beat them 2-1. They won the first game, lost the second one, and then of course ended up beating them in game number 3. Minnesota, they have a lot of returning players, and they upgraded their roster as well. You got they bring over Courtney Williams, who's looked really, really good in the first 2 games against the Seattle Storm. Diamond Miller's been inserted into the starting lineup. Of course, she was one of the better rookies last year. Navisha Collier already looks like an MVP candidate. And then you got Elena Smith as well coming over from Chicago Sky. And Kayla McBride is just a vet. She's super good. So this is going to be a really difficult matchup. Let me just keep going. All right, so Minnesota, they haven't played since Friday. 6 days off of rest for them here. Another convincing point for me. I think Minnesota's going to be locked in, and it's the team that beat you last year. 2 convincing wins against Seattle to start the season, 1 at home, 1 on the road. They got a big matchup coming up against the New York Liberty on Saturday. And this Minnesota team, it's only been 2 games, small sample size, but they are number 1 in offensive rating as far as points scored per game. The number 2 in opponent field goal percentage, holding the Seattle Storm to 38.5% shooting in the first 2 games. The number 1 in opponent 3-point percentage, they held Seattle to 20.7% 3-point shooting in the first 2 games as well. And on the Connecticut side, I mentioned them being 1-2 against the spread. They play again in Chicago versus the Sky on Saturday. They played 2 games versus a very young Indiana team that still hasn't won a game yet, and a beat up Washington team, in my opinion. But so I don't really want to pick apart the Connecticut Sun because they've made us money, and I will continue to back this team. But I think there's something to be said there, like with the wins that they do have. They beat a young Indiana Fever team and got a push in the second game. Didn't even win the game by multiple possessions. But I do think that they're going to be a good team here. They are the second rated defensive team, and they only giving up about 77 points per game. And you see this total starting to drop. This opened, I think, at 165. It's down to 163. And I think I would agree with the movement there. I think it's going to be a pretty slow-paced game. Both teams, I already talked about both teams really playing really good defense. And the Minnesota Lynx, very, very rested as well. So if I had to play the game, which I haven't yet, I'm only taking the points with the Minnesota Lynx here, thinking that they could keep this game close. Major rest advantage here. And also they got some playoff revenge also. So I like the Minnesota Lynx catching the 6.5, maybe even a 7 if you can catch it. And I also like I'll be playing the total towards the under if I was playing this game. Any comments on WNBA? Let's see. DC Sean, going back to the Boston game, says going first half and against the spread, Boston and the parlay together. Okay. Jamie says Lynx plus 6.5. Already played it. I'm glad we're aligned there. And Matt says Suns can't shoot threes. Bonner has been terrible so far this year. She's due for a breakout game though, man. I'm never really counting on these WNBA veterans to continue to stay in that slump. Now, Minnesota's defense has been really, really good, but I think if you got a chance to watch the Seattle game yesterday, Jewel Lloyd has absolutely looked terrible in the first few games so far, and she couldn't miss in the first half. She had 21 points, which is, I think, tied the season high in the first half with Asia Wilson. So, eventually she'll play better. But I'm a big DeWanna Bonner fan. She has struggled, though. I do agree with this comment. I don't know if she's going to struggle tonight, though. But Minnesota's defense has been really, really good. Taz says, taking the points for sure. Game has been very competitive. Games have been very competitive, and I agree with that. What up to my guy, Dream, in the chat? What up, Dream? He says, what's the vibes? Glad he caught a live. Yeah, Dream, I'm looking at Minnesota today, man. I like Minnesota. I haven't played them yet, but plus the 7. Hopefully I can get a 7 with them playing against the Connecticut Sun here. So that's the way I'm looking. As far as player props, I didn't look into any of the player props. Like this look by Dream. He says Courtney Williams rebounds and assists. She has been killing. Courtney Williams come over. She's playing a 2 guard, but she can play point guard as well. Her and Kayla McBride can kind of alternate. And this has been a look since last year, though, Dream. Like, Courtney Williams always going to do all the little things. She's a really good defender. I couldn't talk anybody off looking at Courtney Williams. And appreciate Chris for coming a member as well, Christopher, for joining up, man. Let's keep it pushing. Next game up, we have the Chicago Sky. They will be in New York today, taking on this Liberty team. Liberty land 15.5 points, man. The Liberty have looked like the best team in basketball so far this season. I don't even think like they are the best basketball team. I'm pretty sure they're number 1 in point differential. Defensive rating has been there as well. Like, this team is really locked in right now, coming off that, maybe a revenge tour for them, because they did lose to the Aces, the shorthanded Aces, in the finals last season. So best record in the W. However, they have not necessarily been covering the number, man. This team has they've really, really struggled covering the number here. They've really, really struggled to cover the number here. So you get a Liberty team. They do have 2 days rest. They got a big game against the Lynx on Saturday. And through 4 games, they're a plus 12 in the first half, but only a plus 5 in the second half. If you want the Liberty, you definitely want to take them early. For whatever reason, they don't cover. They didn't cover against the Storm the other day. Offense kind of just, dials it back. They remind me a little bit of the Boston Celtics with the way that they get out and run. And I'm not sure if it's a lack of focus in Sandy Brondello, what she tells her team at halftime, but they're not the same team in the second half that they've been in the first half. So if you like the Liberty, probably want to play them early. I'm only looking towards the Sky, though. They got more rest, 4 days of rest coming. They haven't played a game since they played against the Wings, but they did get their first win. I told you guys I thought that they were going to continue to play really, really hard for their new coach, Teresa Weatherspoon, and they have been. So, 2 days rest advantage here. I think that they can keep it within the number. The Liberty are also 2-0 against. 0-2 against the spread at home because the lines have been so big. And this is another one for me. I do think they can keep the game within 16 points. So, I'm only looking towards the Sky here plus the 15.5. I think they'll play hard. They got the defenders. Whether they'll be able to score the basketball is going to be something different. But Maria Mabry, I think they'll be able to score the ball just a tad bit. And I probably would be looking towards the under as well. Chicago hasn't been playing as fast. So those are my thoughts there. Barstead said he needs Nafisha Collier's points. Nafisha have a big game. Dream says, love the Sky with Teaspoon returning back to New York. They did smash New York in the preseason, so Liberty may want revenge, but it's too many points. Yeah, they oh my God, they smoked them. I'm glad you mentioned that, Jay. I forgot all about that. They beat them by like 40. Chicago Sky did. And I think the Liberty were a little bit short-handed, but the Liberty bench gonna have to prove it to me as well, man. I'm not sold on their bench yet. They got one of the better starting fives, of course, in the W, but their bench gonna have to prove it to me, man. But I think it's a tad bit too many points. Like I said, if you like the Liberty, you want to play them first half because they have been a plus 5. What did I say? A plus 12 in the first half. So I think first half is like 8.5. If you like the Liberty, you want to get in on them early. Jamie also likes the Sky plus 15, and he says Angel Reese to get a double tonight at plus 300. Okay, she gonna have her work cut out down there with what's her name? She gonna have her work cut out down there with why can't I think of her name? Jacquel Jones. That's who I'm thinking about. Yeah, Jacquel's been absolutely cooking, and she gonna bring Angel Reese out to the 3-point line as well. So, yeah, I can see that. All right, next game up, last game, we got Washington Mystics and the Phoenix Mercury. This line opened, I think, at 5, and it's already up to 6.5 in favor of the Mercury here. Total sitting at 163. I think Brittany Sykes has already been rolled out. Shakira Austin was listed as probable. I think she's going to play again in this game. And then on the Mercury side, they are without Brittany Griner, continue to be without Brittany Griner. But this team, man, the Mercury, I think they're like top 5 in a lot of power ratings after last year being one of the worst teams in the W. Rebecca Allen being there. Kalia Copper's been probably the best player in the WNBA so far. I think she had like back-to-back 35-plus point games. As long as Diana Taurasi not out there mucking it up, man, and, not playing any defense, I think this team is going to continue to be really, really good. Natasha Cloud has come over, giving this team some energy on the offensive and defensive end as well. Really difficult for me to bet against the Mercury here. Now, they are coming off a really big win against the Aces. They played the Aces twice. They covered both games, but they actually beat the Aces outright, and it wasn't even close. Beat the Aces on the road as well. So I don't like that as much, because there could be a bit of a letdown spot here. But and the Mystics are going to play hard too. This game to me is the most difficult game to handicap. The Mystics going to play hard, but the Mercury's been absolutely on a roll, man. I just think that they could, potentially have a letdown spot here, especially with the number being at 6.5. I think it's priced about right. So I'm going to stay off of this one. This is the game that I actually don't like the most, that I like the least out of all of the games. So I'll stay off of this one. But I you know what? I'm not even going to give you guys a link because I'm not sure what to do with this game. Don't want to lay too many points with the Mercury, but Washington, second game on the road trip. They, of course, just lost against the Sparks by 2. I don't think they won a game yet. Yeah, they haven't won a game because them and the Sparks were both winless going into their last game. So they are 0-3, 0-4. Jamie says Mystics team total under 78.5. I could potentially see that. And forgot about this one. Natasha Cloud versus her old team. Yeah, I think she wanted to leave too, Dream. This could be the look, Natasha Cloud. Yeah, maybe finding a player prop in this game. Natasha Cloud is going to get big minutes. She's been playing really good. I know she went over her rebounds and assists in the last game. She's averaging 7.3 assists. What did she have? She had 11 points, 7 rebounds, and 10 assists, 1 block and 1 steal in 30 minutes against the Aces the other day. I could definitely see Natasha Cloud, maybe her points, rebounds, and assists over, but man, it's difficult not to want to just instantly go to Kalia Copper and take her points, man. She had 37 on 15 for 23 shooting. She had 5 of her 9 threes in the last game, and this was against the Aces defense. Boy, she been cooking, man. Really, really difficult for me to want to bet against her, but I'll probably end up staying off of this game altogether, but I do like the looks here by Jamie and my guy Dream. I think both of these are serviceable looks. Stern Company says Sabrina points. Maybe. I will have to look a little deeper into it. I hadn't really thought about it too much, if I'm being honest. And Matthew helping me out with Jocko Jones there. Yeah, so that's the show, man. Real quick recap. I haven't played anything yet, but Boston first half, the more I talk about it, the more I looked into it, the more it makes sense to me, man. I think that they absolutely got the Pacers. They got the Pacers' attention. And I think that they, defensively, they'll be a little bit more locked in. I think the turnovers will come down for both teams. I see Boston playing a little bit slower pace, which also favors them as well. So I like Boston first half minus the 5. Only looking towards the Lynx plus the 7 today. Connecticut's a really good team. Do they win by margin at home? I don't think so. And I'm only looking towards Chicago Sky plus 15.5 as well. Remember, I told you guys at the beginning, trend of the day, home favorites in the WNBA, 1-10-2 against the number so far. Only one team has covered out of the 13 teams so far. So that's what I'm liking for today, man. I hope it's helpful for you guys. Resources that I use are here. Always gonna shout out OzJam. Check them out. 25% off your first month if you're interested in checking out their software using code CBC. The link to that is in the description as always. And that's the show for today, man. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Link for my official plays when I do make them will be in the description, but I'm probably gonna be on Boston first half minus the 5. Just letting you guys know. Just haven't put it in yet. Haven't sent it out to the members. And that's the show, man. Best of luck. Bet responsibly as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm out. Enjoy your, what's it today? Thursday. Enjoy your Thursdays, man. I'll catch you guys in the next one.